This is News 8 Now, this morning.
A lot of people think that this is a prank or might be funny or just goofing around, but just like with a bomb threat, it scares people, it scares kids in school, it scares parents, the community, law enforcement, and EMS have to, go into panic mode and, devote resources, which takes away from other things. So it's nothing to be fooling around with.
Acreage is going down in the state of Wisconsin that use this program, roughly about 24% from 2010 to 2017. So we're trying to get more farmers, more landowners to actually go ahead and use this program.
Offering free admission means that families of all, backgrounds can attend, for a day of fun and entertainment, as well as, creating diversity and inclusiveness.
Good morning, everyone, and that was your eye-opener. I'm Sophia Pullman.
And I'm Derek Sibley.
It is March 17th, 2023. Happy St. Patty's Day. We both forgot to wear green.
But luckily our producer brought us some hats.
Someone saved the day.
Exactly.
What can everyone expect for their St. Patty's weekend?
Yeah, if you're celebrating out there today, keep in mind it is going to be a little bit windy and gusty here at times. In fact, that's exactly kind of what we're dealing with right now. And also, we're talking about some low wind chills because of all the windy and gusty conditions that we're currently dealing with here so far this morning. And in fact, you can see that we are dealing with wind speeds behind me anywhere between around 15 to 25 miles an hour. So make sure to, if you're driving those high-profile vehicles especially, to take it easy there on your morning commute, as you can see with those current wind speeds there on the map. Now, the gusts are even higher than that. We're seeing gusts anywhere between 25 to 30 miles an hour, even gusts up to 32 currently being measured at the La Crosse Airport at the moment. And current wind chills are making temperatures feel like they're into the teens and single digits. It feels like 2 in Eau Claire right now. Meanwhile, in La Crosse, it feels like it's 8 degrees. We had some rain and snow move through yesterday afternoon and also into the evening hours. So that is making our road conditions a little bit slick out there this morning. So just be aware of that for your morning commute. Other than that, it's going to be a mostly cloudy and windy day today with temperatures well into the 20s during the day as well. We'll talk about your full weather forecast. I'll let you know if there could be any more rain or snow coming up as we head into next week in a few minutes. Sophia?
Thanks, Derek. Let's get to some news this morning. 3 teens charged with terroristic threats appeared in virtual court as a judge set their bonds. Hunter Gunlach, Alex Pataska, and Brady Hove were arrested on Wednesday after police say they drove by Blessed Sacrament Elementary School and yelled threats towards kids. A $5,000 cash bond was set for Gunlach, $2,500 cash bond for Pataska, and a $5,000 signature bond for Hove. A La Crosse County's district attorney says threats made towards schools have to be taken seriously.
A lot of people think that this is a prank or might be funny or just goofing around, but just like with a bomb threat, it scares people, it scares kids in school, it scares parents, the community, law enforcement, and EMS have to, go into panic mode and, devote resources, which takes away from other things. So it's nothing to be fooling around with.
Grunke says that when agencies have to respond to threats like these, it costs money to the community, especially at a time when school shootings are common. Wisconsin is known as the dairy state, and that's not possible without the thousands of dairy farms. But since 2010, over 1 million acres of farmland have been lost because of construction and development. One state bill hopes to change that by updating the Farmland Preservation Program. News 8 Now's Dua Ishrar spoke to the author of that bill and explains why it has bipartisan support.
Finding common ground in this day and age is rare.
We need to move beyond this partisan politics. There's too much of it, and it's holding back our state from moving forward.
For 2 state legislators, common ground is found on the farm.
My farm was a dairy farmer, all my life until I got elected to this job. I still farm my land.
That's why Republican State Assembly member Lauren Oldenburg authored a bill to improve the Farmland Preservation Program.
Acreage is going down in the state of Wisconsin that use this program, roughly about 24% from 2010 to 2017. So we're trying to get more farmers, more landowners to actually go ahead and use this program.
Under the proposed bill, farmers would receive higher tax credits for following soil and water conservation standards. Farmers would only have to sign a 10-year agreement instead of 15.
Provide incentive for farmers to stay on the land instead of losing that crop land, potentially to say residential development is one example.
Democrat and State Senator Brad Pfaff supports the bill.
My parents, as well as my grandparents, they were family farmers, and they were proud to sign up for this program and participate in land and water conservation initiatives.
Pfaff says this is one way to keep farming alive.
We want to encourage the next generation of family farmers to enter into agriculture.
Oldenburg says no matter what side of the aisle someone may be on, farmland is farmland.
Bipartisan because, everyone owns land or everyone farms, no matter their political beliefs.
Reporting in La Crosse, Dua Esrar, News 8 Now.
This is Oldenburg's third attempt at passing this bill. He's hopeful it'll happen this time because of both bipartisan support and various agriculture groups backing it. If the bill passes, farmers would see those increased tax credits in 2024. A La Crosse nonprofit is offering high schoolers alternative and in-demand options to help them prepare for their future. La Crosse Promise hosted the first of its career fairs at Logan High School. Area business representatives were on hand to answer questions about different career opportunities. One representative says the idea of going to college and racking up 4 years of debt to find a good career is outdated. He says an apprenticeship in a high-demand trade can set students up for rewarding careers.
You become like a doctor in the community, Everybody wants you to come over and take a look at something like this. Seeing people work their way from high school all the way through apprenticeship and then turn out as journeymen, it's like the best feeling in the world. It's like your favorite team going to the Super Bowl.
Chris says career fairs like these also teach students how to self-advocate before they leave school. Another career fair just for students is happening next Thursday at Central High School. For the first time in 4 years, the Family Fun Expo is coming back, and it's free for everyone. The expo, held at the Onalaska Omni Center, will feature live performances, bounce houses, games, and giveaways. Onalaska Animal Hospital is sponsoring admission for everyone. The owner and head vet at the hospital says covering the cost is their way of giving back to a community that's welcomed them.
Offering free admission means that families of all, backgrounds can attend, for a day of fun and entertainment, as well as, creating diversity and inclusiveness.
Along with providing a day of fun for families, organizers of the expo hope everyone who comes can also help give back to the community.
We're also asking folks to, if they can, to bring diaper donations, and those donations will build our diaper bank at the Parenting Place.
The Parenting Place will also be accepting cash donations at the expo. Doors open at the Omni Center at 11 a.m. on Sunday. We have a link with more information about that event on news8000.com. If your March Madness bracket is already busted, Alice in Dairyland has a different kind of bracket challenge for some low-stakes fun. The state's agriculture ambassador has put together a Wisconsin cheese bracket to celebrate the variety of cheeses the state's over 1,200 cheesemakers craft every year. Wisconsin makes over 600 types of cheese, but Schaefer simplified her bracket to a Sweet 16. Some of the types still in the running are Gouda and, of course, cheese curds.
Cheese curds are truly a Wisconsin original, and from the beginning everyone's been saying cheese curds and mozzarella, those are their two favorites, so we'll see which one makes it to the final championship game.
If you want to join the bracket challenge to vote for your favorite cheese, just look up Alice in Dairyland on Instagram. The champion will be crowned at the end of March. Still ahead on your morning news, another major insulin maker will drastically slash the prices of its most prescribed insulin. We'll share the details. And a financial expert weighs in on how you can be a better investor in 2023. That and more coming up this morning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. It's St. Patrick's Day. It's the day everyone celebrates the Irish spirit while celebrating the nation's culture. March 17th recognizes Ireland's patron saint, a Christian missionary who converted the Irish people to Christianity. Legend says he drove the snakes out of Ireland. The symbol of the color green on St. Patrick's Day is a nod to Ireland's nickname, the Emerald Isle. Don't go anywhere. Your consumer news at News 8 Now this morning after the break.
Well, sure is a very gusty start here this morning. We are tracking wind gusts anywhere between 25 to 30 miles an hour, even some spots like La Crosse, just over 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts this morning. Over the last 6 hours, we have watched the leftover remaining effects of that storm system that brought us the rain and snow exiting the area. Now we're just left over with mainly cloudy weather conditions here for us to work with this morning. Our high temperatures today will be rising only into the mid-20s in La Crosse County this afternoon. And as we head further south, we're going to be looking at highs reaching 24 in Viroqua today. 27 to the north in La Crescent. High temperatures reached 23 degrees in Arcadia today, 24 in Melrose and 21 in Osseo. Meanwhile, the Chippewa Valley looking at highs into the upper teens to low 20s. Dog walking conditions mostly cloudy for the morning, and then we got cloudy weather conditions for the afternoon and also into the evening hours as well. Cloudy skies to start off for the bus stop forecast, with 21 degrees being the temperature. As we head towards the afternoon on the way back home, we are going to be looking at 26 degrees during the afternoon, with mainly cloudy skies that will continue to remain in place across much of the area. We'll talk about your full weather forecast coming up, still to come in a few minutes, and I'll time out the wind gusts and also the wind chills that we can expect here today.
In your consumer news this morning, consumers are expecting to see inflation come down within next year. That's according to new Federal Reserve Bank data. Consumers believe they will see relief on prices for food, rent, medical care, and gas. Measurements of inflation expectations are closely watched by officials as they seek to bring down the highest inflation in decades. If inflation expectations run high, that could cause workers to demand pay raises, causing businesses to raise prices. Another drug maker is cutting the price of insulin. Thursday, Sanofi announced it is dropping the price of Lantus by 78%. Lantus is the company's most prescribed insulin in the U.S. The company will set a $35 a month cap for patients with private insurance. Sanofi is cutting Apidra insulin by 70%. The price change is effective January 1st, 2024. If you're looking to take your investing to a new level this year, experts recommend you take a humble approach. With stocks, real estate, and even crypto growing more risky, what can you do to grow your portfolio? In today's consumer news, one financial expert has 5 tips to become a better investor.
Investors looking to grow their hard-earned money are facing increasingly volatile markets in 2023. A shaky stock market, a rocky real estate industry, and an imploding crypto sector. So what can you do now to protect your assets and better manage your portfolio?
Take the time to educate before you allocate and make sure that you do your homework.
Financial expert Lynette Calfani-Cox has 5 tips to help you this year. The first one is to do your research before investing in any market. And number 2, have a plan. Once you understand the risks, figure out how much you can invest, especially amid soaring inflation.
Small amounts of money count too when it comes to investing. So often people fail to even begin because they say, well, I don't have $5,000 to start, or I don't have a big lump sum of money to put into the markets.
3, diversify your investments. Calfani-Cox recommends avoiding an over-concentration in one area. And number 4, treat crypto with extreme caution, especially after 2 main banks for crypto companies shut down this month, adding another blow to the crypto industry, which is still struggling to recover from last year's crippling crypto winter that pushed Bitcoin down nearly 65%.
Don't just throw your money into something in the short run thinking, okay, I'm going to, this is going to be part of my get rich quick scheme. It simply doesn't work like that.
And finally, know your limits. No matter how much research you've done, be a humble investor.
Well, this morning we got very windy conditions here to work with all across the area. Temperatures in La Crosse are at 23 degrees under cloudy skies. Gusts up to 32 miles an hour being reported here. Meanwhile, gusts up to 28 miles an hour in Eau Claire under cloudy skies. Temperatures at around 18 degrees. And you can see those current winds anywhere between around 15 to 20 miles an hour. And we are tracking gusts anywhere up to around 25 to 35 miles an hour really across the area, which will continue as we head into the later afternoon hours here today. Now, taking you into overnight tonight, we will be watching the winds here subside just a little bit, but still relatively gusty out there here too. And really, we could say the same thing as we head into tomorrow afternoon for your Saturday. Wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour or higher are still possible before this really begins to subside significantly as we head into early on a Sunday morning. Now, meanwhile, our wind chills here, we are currently waking up to wind chill factors into the teens and single digits, which will continue as we head throughout the rest of the day today. Heading into overnight tonight, we are going to be watching the wind chills drop even further below zero in some spots, thanks to those gusty winds that will continue to help make our feel like temperatures drop even further. Now, by tomorrow afternoon, we're talking about wind chills a little bit warmer this time, mainly into the teens across much of the area. And then you can see those wind chills will drop yet again as we head into Saturday night into early Sunday. Now, this will be around the time those winds will begin to let up here a little bit, but it will still feel very cold here as wind chills factors will be into the single digits by Sunday morning and then begin to warm up later into the day on Sunday afternoon. Now, it's very gusty because of this trough of low pressure that we've been monitoring here. This was the same system that brought us the rain and snowy conditions yesterday, even a little bit of mix here in some spots. Well, it's causing a very tight pressure gradient as the system exits the area. So we're still looking at some very gusty conditions across the upper Midwest. And as of the last 6 hours or so, we have noticed a lot of the precipitation exit the area, mainly leftover cloudy weather conditions currently across much of the Coulee region, which will continue to remain that way underneath those cloudy skies really throughout the rest of the day, with temperatures mainly into the 20s. So we'll time it out on Sky Tracker, and you can see that as we progress throughout the rest of the morning, skies will continue to remain mostly cloudy, and then by 5 o'clock we start to see even more cloud cover that could develop and move across the area here today. By 10 o'clock here tonight, we start to see a few flurries that could develop to the north. Those flurries may actually track their way south, so some of us could be looking at some snow flurries tonight into early tomorrow morning, and then those flurries exit the area for around 9 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Then the rest of the day is just looking mainly cloudy and cold, with high temperatures approaching around 28 degrees for tomorrow. Much warmer though for Sunday, even 40s and 50s for the highs next week. Chance of rain Wednesday and Thursday. Stay with us. We're back with much more news and weather still to come on News 8 Now this morning. We're taking a quick break with a look at what happened on this day in history for March 17th. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Blitz. Here we go. It's finally tournament time for the Wisconsin boys basketball teams. The best of the best meeting in Madison over the next few days with the goal of bringing home a gold ball. The semifinals in Divisions 3 and 4 tipping off yesterday. Arcade Overton was at the Kohl Center. He had a front row seat for all the action.
Yeah, Rob, basketball is in the air here in Madison. You can feel it everywhere for the boys state basketball tournament. And for the West Salem Panthers, it's all about sealing the deal. They were here last year and fell just short of that gold ball, but they're back. Division 3 boys semifinal, the Panthers are taking on the Milwaukee Academy of Science Novas. First half action in West Salem came out fiery. Brennan Kennedy unloading just seconds into the game and gets it to fall. Then just seconds later, it's Tamarian Henderson in the corner. Money. West Salem starts the game on an 8-0 run. And then check out the defense. Mass in transition, but Peter Latos out of nowhere, chase down block. West Salem would go into the half up 16. Second half now, and the Panthers keeping the pressure on. Henderson driving, pull-up jumper. That's good, plus the foul. West Salem up big. Then it's Henderson again driving, fighting through contact and scoring. He'd finish with 25 points as the Panthers win big 93-65. They're back in the state finals, and this team has been waiting a whole year for this moment.
I would say defense, our defensive presence is a lot better than what it was last year. We came out with a good mentality as well.
Just being comfortable with the ball. We saw a lot of pressure last year, and I've seen a lot of pressure this year, and just staying composed.
And then we had two of our area teams facing off in Division 4. The Luther Knights are trying to keep their impressive season alive, taking on a Whitehall team who hasn't been to the state tournament since 1986. First half action, it's the Norsemen coming out hot. Luke Bagley showing off the post moves and scoring. A few minutes later, Devin McCune driving to the cup. He gets that to fall. Whitehall with an early lead. But the Knights weren't going to let that last long. Cody Miller step back, drives baseline, bucket plus the foul for the 3-point play. And then Miller driving, somehow gets this pass off to Logan Barr for 3, cash. Luther with a big lead at the break, and the second half was more of the same. All 5 Luther players touching the ball in just a matter of seconds, then the dump off to Justin Miller for the score. Not much you can do when Luther is moving the ball like that. The Knights get the win 79-51.
Big wins for the Knights and Panthers. I cannot wait for Saturday. Let's shift gears to the Minnesota side now and the Spring Grove boys basketball team. The Lions have been on an absolute tear since the opening tip of the regular season, and now this team is just 36 minutes away from punching their ticket to Minneapolis. Let's go to Rochester for the Section 1A championship. Spring Grove taking on Goodhue. First half, Lions effective, moving the ball around the outside. Elijah Solom pulls up for the mid-range jumper. Spring Grove goes up by 5. Goodhue looking to get their offense going, but the Lions, Tyson Grindy steps in the passing lane on the other end. He lays it in. Spring Grove up by 12. Goodhue starting to get going. Will Opshaw cutting to the hoop, laying it in for 2 here. Wildcats trail by 9. Second half now, Lions getting hot. Jackson Strinman working towards the hoop with a nifty spin move on his way to 2. Spring Grove now up by 17. More Lions. Solom driving the lane. Defenders can't stop him. He goes to the glass for 2. Spring Grove up by 19 with just under 9 to go. But Goodhue finds their groove, going on a 21-2 run, capped off by this lay-in by Adam Poncelet. Spring Grove now only leads by 2, but the Lions get a little bit of scoring in the final minutes, including this 2 in the lane from Grindy. Crack open a Rewberry pop. Spring Grove. The Lions are going to state following a 57-48 win. Afterwards, Solom talked about what it took to get it done.
I think it's just the trust we all have in our teammates, you know? We have a special bond here in Spring Grove, so it helps us a lot. We're all connected and we all work well together.
Spring Grove will play in the quarterfinals at Williams Arena Wednesday. They'll find out their opponent on Saturday. Royal and Central are both in action later today. We could have 4 teams going for a state title tomorrow in Madison. That's going to do it for the Blitz. We'll see you tonight.
Protests resume in Tel Aviv against Netanyahu judicial reform bill. Israelis took the streets to protest plans by the government of Benjamin Netanyahu to change the country's judicial system on Wednesday. Israeli President Isaac Herzog promised compromise on reforms for Israel's judiciary while warning the country on the brink of civil war. The Red Cross is hoping to avoid a spring blood shortage. They're offering a $10 Visa gift card to all donors this month. Plus, every blood donor is entered for a chance to win a $3,000 Visa gift card. There will be 5 winners. The Red Cross has lots of opportunities at blood drives all over western Wisconsin. You can book a donation appointment at redcrossblood.org or on the Red Cross's blood donor app. We have an update on a recall of millions of sleep apnea machines that have been going on for nearly 2 years. Devices made by Philips designed to help people breathe as they sleep were posing potential health risks. We get more from CBS's Anna Werner.
48-year-old Carrie Markham says she's spent 3 years struggling to breathe, suffering from lung problems that began in March of 2020 and puzzled her doctors.
They just kept saying, we just don't know. Some type of inflammatory condition.
The registered nurse and mother of 3 says she'd been using a Philips DreamStation CPAP machine to treat her sleep apnea since 2018. Then in June of 2021, she says she saw on Facebook that machines like hers had been recalled due to sound abatement foam used inside that could degrade. Philips' recall said potential risks included toxic and carcinogenic effects, asthma, and inflammatory response.
I was flabbergasted.
So at that point, you hadn't gotten any notification?
Absolutely not.
Markham is one of numerous users now suing Philips, saying the company had been told about foam degradation inside some of its CPAP machines and ventilators beginning in 2015, according to the Food and Drug Administration, but did not initiate a recall until 2021. 2 years later, some patients on social media complain they still have not gotten a replacement machine from Philips.
I think this recall shows us how bad things can go when we don't get it right.
Dr. Vinay Rathi studies medical device regulation.
You basically bought a device, you find out that actually it could harm you, and then you struggle to find a replacement device. If I were a patient, I would be livid.
Philips says as of January, it has produced more than 90% of replacement devices that are needed. It has shipped replacements to only roughly half, 2.5 million of the customers in need of them. The company also says its latest testing shows foam degradation is low and within applicable safety limits, and that exposure to particulate matter emissions from degraded foam is unlikely to result in an appreciable harm to health and patients.
Slow down, buddy.
Carrie Markham now uses a different company's CPAP machine, but she worries about the future.
I don't know if I'll be around for my grandchildren.
Philips told us it can't comment on pending litigation, including Markham's lawsuit.
And then
If you have sleep apnea machines made by Philips, then talk to your medical advisor as soon as possible. According to a new report, the Met Council in Minnesota wasn't transparent about the huge cost overruns and years of delays associated with the Southwest Light Rail project. It's one of many issues in the report. The line connects downtown Minneapolis to Eden Prairie, with stops in the western suburbs along the way. State lawmakers want big change.
The governance and oversight of this body has to be fundamentally changed. It has to be an elected body. There is no alternative to that.
The cost of the project has increased nearly 40% since construction began. It's more than $1.5 billion over what was initially estimated a decade ago. Wisconsin Republicans are introducing a bill that would assign an official state rifle. Mondovi Representative Trega Prochinski is one of the authors of the bill. The measure would name the Henry All-Weather 45 through 70 as the official state rifle. The gun's manufacturer, Henry Repeating Arms, is based in Rice Lake. He says the bill is a way to recognize a Wisconsin company and that the move isn't political. State Democrats disagree with the move, noting an increase in homicides where guns are the weapon of choice. You can help create more honor flight opportunities for veterans across the country. The co-founder of the Never Forgotten Honor Flight is competing in the Orange County Choppers Dream Chopper competition. If Jim Campbell wins the contest, he promises to auction off the ride to provide more honor flights. Jade Fleury tells us how the competition works.
Orange County Choppers is hosting a competition to see who can get the most votes for a custom motorcycle. Competitors have to write up a reason why they want the cool ride.
Of course, the Honor Flight program is not hard to sell, and I made the cut.
The Honor Flight flies World War II, Korea, and Vietnam veterans to D.C. for free to visit their memorials.
The Honor Flight program goes a long way for them to get closure.
If Campbell wins the Dream Chopper, the Orange County Choppers will help him customize the Honor Flight themed bike.
Some of that will be obviously patriotic colors, so there'll be lots of red, white, and blue and American flags and that kind of thing.
But most importantly, Campbell says he'd auction off the bike to create more trips to D.C. for all 124 Honor Flight hubs.
If the bike sells for $100,000, that would be 200 veterans. Most Honor Flights fly airplanes that carry about 100 veterans, so that's 2 airplanes full.
For Campbell, the competition isn't about the motorcycle, it's about the veterans.
You think about, a 90-year-old World War II veteran who'd never been thanked, ever, never got a welcome home. That is one of the highlights, obviously, of the Honor Flight program, is they finally get recognized and thanked.
Voting to support the Honor Flight Dream Chopper is just a click away, and there's still a week left to get your vote in. Next Thursday, the top 20 will advance to the next round. You can place a vote online at dreamchopper.com.
Well, it sure is a very cloudy start here this morning, but not only that, it's also very gusty here too. In fact, our current winds are out of the northwest at 20 miles an hour currently in La Crosse. Temperatures here at 23, but it feels like 8 degrees when you factor in the wind chill thanks to the gusty conditions. Partly to mostly cloudy is what we can expect throughout much of the morning, and then skies turn completely overcast throughout the afternoon with temperatures well into the 20s and still very windy. So overall, the forecast today, 27 degrees under those mostly cloudy skies and gusty and chilly conditions with those west-northwest winds at 20 to 30 miles an hour. For tonight, we drop down to 9 degrees. Still pretty gusty out there at times, and overall mainly cloudy as well, with winds out of the west northwest at 15 to 25 miles an hour. So for your drivecast this morning, watch out for some of those slick roadways from yesterday's wintry weather and also the rainy conditions that we had at the same time. Cloudy conditions, though, as we head towards the mid-hour commute. And then as we head into the evening hours, we are going to be looking at those mainly cloudy skies still overhead and at times still a little bit windy as well, which we'll talk more about the winds coming up in the full weather forecast after the break. But also coming up in our Buzz Report, a quick look at Hulu's new TV show Boston Strangler that debuts today. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Well, it sure is a cloudy but also very gusty start here this morning. As you can see behind me, we're currently dealing with gusts up to 32 miles an hour now in La Crosse. We do have visibilities, though, looking good around 10 miles. The actual wind speeds, though, around northwest at 20 miles an hour, with 23 degrees being the temperature in La Crosse. Current conditions to the north and Eau Claire, also very gusty out of the west-northwest, 28-mile-per-hour wind gusts, sustained winds at around 18 miles an hour. Feels like 2 degrees, though, when you factor in the wind chill. Current wind speeds across the rest of the area anywhere between around 15 to 20 miles an hour here at times, and we're also tracking wind gusts here up to around 30+ miles an hour in many locations, and it will continue to remain gusty with those wind gusts occasionally up over 30 miles an hour during the afternoon. We start to see the winds subside just a tad as we head into overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, though, we do expect that the winds will continue to remain pretty gusty as they redevelop around 30 to 35 mile-per-hour wind gusts at times. Now, as we head into tomorrow night into early Sunday morning, we do start to see the wind speeds, though, subside significantly, and therefore those winds will begin to relax here as well. So wind chill tracker showing that wind chills are currently into the single digits. We will continue to remain this way through at least the day today. Heading into tonight, those wind chills may even drop further to even below 0 here at times as well. They will warm back up just a little bit into the teens for tomorrow afternoon before they begin to drop yet again as we head into early on Sunday morning with feel-like temperatures into the single digits by 4 or 5 o'clock Sunday morning. So this is all really thanks to this trough of low pressure that we were dealing with here yesterday. It was the same system that brought us the rainy and wintry weather conditions here, but you can see that's a very tight pressure gradient associated with the system, and we're still dealing with some windy conditions on the back side of it as well. Over the last 6 hours, most of the precipitation, as you can see as well to the east, we still have some remaining cloud cover, though, associated with it, and those clouds will continue throughout the day with temperatures well into the 20s here as well. So as we take into Sky Tracker, you can see that we're going to continue to remain on the mostly cloudy side, and then everybody's going to be looking at thick overcast conditions later this afternoon as those clouds will redevelop on the back side of the system. A few flurries here kind of rotating on the western end still, and that may actually move south and affect portions of the La Crosse area as we head into overnight tonight into early tomorrow. Now by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, all those flurries should be gone. Still looking at some gusty conditions and cloudy weather conditions as well. By tomorrow afternoon, we're still looking at mainly cloudy skies. Look at the temperatures here dropping into the 20s. And as a matter of fact, our highs tomorrow will be around 28 degrees. Now we are going to warm up into the low 40s for Sunday, and then we're into the 40s and 50s for much of next week under cloudy skies. However, Wednesday and Thursday could be our next best chance of rain, so we'll watch out for that. Meanwhile, low temperatures will mainly be into the 20s and 30s.
In our Morning Buzz Report, Keira Knightley and Carrie Coon team up as the two female journalists investigating the Boston Strangler. Hulu's Boston Strangler is based on the true story of Loretta McLaughlin and Jean Cole, who broke the story about the infamous serial killer in the 1960s. The stars hit the red carpet earlier this week for the film's New York premiere.
This long-haired guy here is Scott Upson. He's a part of a street gang called the Unwanted. And here he's talking with Detective Andy Price. LAPD.
The NCIS team goes undercover to catch the leader of a gang dealing drugs on the streets. Catch the latest episode of NCIS Los Angeles Sunday night on CBS, as well as a new episode of The Equalizer.
His name is Roy Hayes.
Okay, so his prints were in the system. Why? Do you know?
Wasn't for a crime.
Both shows are also available to stream live and on demand on Paramount Plus. So, any St. Patrick's Day plans?
Well, after work.
You're going to be here.
I'm going to be here, but yeah, no, not really a whole lot.
Yeah,
What
me
about
either.
you?
No,
Okay.
I'm not Irish.
All right, well, let's move on.
Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, so we do have quite a bit of birthdays here today. We want to wish a happy 8th birthday to Kesley. Kesley enjoys skiing, gymnastics, and soccer.
Happy 8th birthday to Grayson. Grayson loves to spend time outdoors. He loves his pets, Peanut Butter and Harry.
Happy 8th birthday to Liam. Liam is a kind kid who loves soccer, football, and being part of the Cub Scouts.
Happy 8th birthday to Owen. Owen loves all things outdoors. He loves to fish, hunt, and to play basketball.
Happy 18th birthday to Savannah. Savannah loves volleyball, softball, and riding horses, as she can't wait to go to college and to learn how to be a pediatrician.
Happy 18th birthday to Ruby. Ruby loves to spend time with her family and friends. She also loves being a St. Pat's birthday girl.
Well, if you know a special someone that's turning 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com. Look for the submit pictures under the home tab on our website. Stay with us, and hopefully in the next hour we will have the pictures up. Your morning news now is up next. Another drug maker is cutting the price of insulin. Thursday, Sanofi announced it is dropping the price of Lantus by 78%. Lantus is the company's most prescribed insulin in the U.S. The company will set a $35 per month cap for patients with private insurance. Sanofi is also cutting Apidra insulin by 70%. The price change is effective January 1st, 2024. The Red Cross is hoping to avoid a spring blood shortage. They're offering a $10 Visa gift card to all donors this month. Plus, every blood donor who is entered for a chance to win a $3,000 Visa gift card. There will be 5 winners. The Red Cross has lots of opportunities at blood drives all over western Wisconsin. You can book a donation appointment at redcrossblood.org or on the Red Cross's Blood Donor app. To help them prepare for their future. La Crosse Promise hosted the first of its career fairs at Logan High School. Area business representatives were on hand to answer questions about different career opportunities. One representative says the idea of going to college and racking up 4 years of debt to find a good career is outdated. He says an apprenticeship in a high-demand trade can set students up for a rewarding career.
You become like a doctor in the community, you know? Everybody wants you to come over and take a look at something of theirs. Seeing people work their way from high school all the way through apprenticeship and then turn out as journeymen, it's like the best feeling in the world. It's like your favorite team going to the Super Bowl.
Chris says career fairs like these also teach students how to self-advocate before they leave school. Another career fair just for students is happening next Thursday at Central High School. For the first time in 4 years, the Family Fun Expo is coming back, and it's free for everyone. The expo, held at the Onalaska Omni Center, will feature live performances, bounce houses, games, and giveaways. Onalaska Animal Hospital is sponsoring admission for everyone. The owner and head vet at the hospital says covering the cost is their way of giving back.
Offering free admission means that families of all, backgrounds can attend, for a day of fun and entertainment, as well as, creating diversity and inclusiveness.
Along with providing a day of fun for families, organizers of the expo hope everyone who comes can also give back to the community.
We're also asking folks to, if they can, to bring diaper donations, and those donations will build our diaper bank at the Parenting Place.
The Parenting Place will also be accepting cash donations at the expo. Doors open at the Omni Center at 11 a.m. on Sunday. We have a link with more information about the event on news8000.com. If your March Madness bracket is already busted, Alice in Dairyland has a different kind of bracket challenge for some low-stakes fun. The state's agriculture ambassador has put together a Wisconsin cheese bracket to celebrate the variety of cheeses the state's over 1,200 cheesemakers craft every year. Wisconsin makes over 600 types of cheese, but Schaefer's simplified her bracket to a Sweet 16. Some of the types still in the running are Gouda and, of course, cheese curds.
Cheese curds are truly a Wisconsin original, and from the beginning everyone's been saying cheese curds and mozzarella, those are their two favorites, so we'll see which one makes it to the final championship game.
If you want to join the bracket challenge to vote for your favorite cheese, just look up Alice in Dairyland on Instagram. The champion will be crowned at the end of March.
As you head out the door this morning, we're looking at mainly cloudy conditions with temperatures in the teens, also a little bit gusty outside. We will continue to remain windy throughout the day with cloudy skies and temperatures well into the 20s. In fact, our high today only reaching 27, but it will feel like the single digits and teens when you factor in wind chills. Now for tomorrow, very similar, 28 degrees and cloudy, still a little bit gusty. Sunday, not very windy. In fact, the wind speeds will relax, mostly sunny, high of 41. Highs in the 40s and 50s for next week. Chance of rain Wednesday and Thursday.